turning, braking, stopping, driving, drove, drive, steering, swerving, swerved, swerve, signaling, passing, avoid, smashed, cut in front of, slammed, meanwhile, unaware, tow truck, intersection, statements. Here is an example of a car insurance policy. In the state of Ohio, you are required to carry car insurance before you're allowed to drive. You'll notice that there are certain sections and how much the car insurance policy will cover and how much you have to pay for that coverage. Liability. Liability is the part of insurance that covers damages that you cause. So if you damage someone's property, it will cover the cost to replace that person's property. Collusion is another word for crash. Comprehensive means complete. Roadside assistance. If you break down, roadside assistance offers you help. So a person with a tow truck or a person who can come out and fix a flat tire. So while you are driving, you have an issue, you call your car insurance and they can offer roadside assistance. Discounts. A lot of car insurances will give you discounts if you are a good driver, which means you have nothing on your record. And if you've experienced a lot of driving time, so if you've been a driver for over 10 years, you might get a discount. Uninsured motorists. If you happen to get into a car accident with someone who's driving a car that doesn't have insurance, your insurance will help cover any costs. So if you get into a crash with someone who doesn't have insurance, your insurance will help cover the cost. That's uninsured motorist. You have to pay car insurance either quarterly, yearly, or sometimes twice a year. Quarterly means every 4 months. Liability, collusion, comprehensive, roadside assistance, discounts, uninsured motorist, quarterly or yearly. Does this policy cover towing? What is the amount of coverage for bodily injury? Does this policy cover uninsured drivers? What is the quarterly cost of this insurance? Here is an ad to buy a car. You'll notice there are certain phrases here that we haven't covered before. Certified. Certified means that the dealership, the actual makers of the car, for example, Toyota, Ford, has made sure that the car is in similar condition to if it was new. This is where you find information about the specific model. So 2515 Voupe de Scoop, of course it's made up. But this is where you would see the year it was made and the model. Pay attention to these numbers when you see 2535 City or HWY. This means that for gas mileage, this particular car can get 25 miles per gallon of gasoline on the city roads. 35 of gallons can make it 35 miles per gallon on the highway roads. The higher the number, the better. Two-wheel front drive. You can either have a two-wheel or you can have a four-wheel. Two-wheel means that the power of the steering is in the front of the car. The cylinder talks about the amount of power that the car can have. Be careful if you see the word rebate. If you see the word rebate, that means you have to fill out a form to actually get money back from the purchase. So instead of just giving you a discount that day, you have to actually fill out a form and mail it in to get money back later. Rebate. Financing, this is when you sign up for a loan. Certified. Make and model. miles per gallon on the highway or city. Two-wheel drive or four-wheel drive are your options typically. Cylinders, rebate, financing. Questions that you need to ask before you purchase a car, especially a used car. Are the service records available? You need to know if they have information about how many times the car has been repaired and why it was repaired. Has it been in any accidents? Which features do not work properly? So they can list a feature, but it doesn't mean that it works. For example, automatic locks. May I take it to my mechanic? Never, ever, ever buy a car before you have someone you trust that's a licensed mechanic actually examine the car. They're going to give you an unbiased reasons for not or reasons for purchasing the car. Is there a warranty? What does the warranty cover? So within a certain time frame of you purchasing a vehicle, you are actually, you can take it back to the person who sold you and they will fix it for you free. It's important that you ask what the warranty covers because the warranties don't always cover everything that could go wrong. For more information on auto loans, financing, and things like that, we like to recommend Bankrate. They're a pretty good site for explaining what the financing side of things are. So what interest rates would be, the kind of hidden fees that you might come across. Words that you need to know for auto loans: down payment, interest rate, loan period, fees, conditions. So if you have $2,000 for down payment, the interest rate is 4.5%. The loan period is 60 months, which means that you're paying on it for 60 months. Fees, there's always fees, let's say $150. Conditions, you are not allowed to pay the loan off early. You have to pay it for the full 60 months. This means that you're going to pay $191.18 per month for 60 months. So when you sign up for an auto loan, make sure that you know what the down payment, interest rate, loan period, fees, and conditions are before you actually sign it, and you know your monthly payment. If you're curious, you get that number by taking the car amount minus the down payment equals the loan amount. The loan amount times the interest rate equals the total interest. Loan amount plus total interest equals total paid. And total paid divided by how many months you're paying it equals your monthly payment. If you don't memorize it, that's okay. Bankrate and other websites actually have loan calculators that you just have to know the numbers and it will do the calculations for you. Let's go into the past and talk about the past. To be. I was, he was, she was, it was. I was listening, he was singing, she was dancing, it was running. Were, you were, they were, we were. You were talking. They were dreaming, we were wishing. I was, he was, she was, it was. You were, they were, we were. A gerund is a verb that ends in the ing sound, so listening, singing, dancing, running. When you combine the gerund with the to be verb and the past tense, was or were, you're actually doing a past continuous. So you're describing something that happened in the past but was happening over a period of time. So I was dancing, I was singing, she was studying, he was moving. A complete clause or a complete sentence ending in English is I went to school. Subject I, verb went, and then describing a place to school. Sometimes you have dependent clauses. So these are sections of the sentence that depend on the main part of the sentence. So the school was closing because of the snowstorm. The school was closing is a complete sentence by itself. But because of the snowstorm is a dependent clause that explains why the school was closing. It is important to read manuals so that you know how to take care of your car. It is important to read manuals is a complete sentence. So that you know how to take care of your car is a dependent clause. This doesn't make sense without the first part of the sentence. Because I want to graduate, I will not go to the party tonight. I need to study. Because I want to graduate is the dependent clause. Just because it starts at the beginning of the sentence doesn't mean it is not a dependent clause. Because I want to graduate is dependent on I will not go to the party tonight. So that you can change your schedule, make sure you let your boss know. So that you can change your schedule, make sure you let your boss know. Can you guess the next one? We need to buy new shovels because winter is coming. Which part of the sentence is dependent on the other part? Because winter is coming. Depending on the teacher, you may have a lot of homework. Can you guess? Depending on the teacher. She is going to Canada so that she can visit her family. So that she can visit her family. You'll notice that a lot of these dependent clauses begin with so, or because, and sometimes depending. The band was marching because of the home game. Because of the home game. It is important to study English so that you can learn this new language. So that you can learn this new language. Because I want to travel, I will fly to China next year. Because I want to travel. So that you can get it there in time, make sure you set your alarm clock. So that you can get there in time. We need to buy new plants because spring is coming. Because spring is coming. Depending on your plans, you may not have enough time to finish chores. Depending on your plan. She is going to Mexico so she could attend a wedding. So that she can attend a wedding. Who, what, when, where, why, and how. Who is a person. Who was the singer? Who had the songbook? When, where, why, how, did. When did they go? Where did they go? Why did they go? How did they go? What could happen? Who was the singer? Who had the songbook? When, where, why, how did they go? What could happen? These are all who, when, where, why, H, the question words, in the past. Who was, who had, when did, what could.